Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss about Azure Event Grid. So this is going to be a comprehensive video and we are going to discuss few topics. So that's going to cover this Azure Event Grid. So moving on to understand what is Azure Event Grid. So this is basically a fully managed event routing service. So which enables applications, right, to react to events. Uh, which uses an event-driven architecture. And this is designed to simplify event-based communication between different microservices. So instead of continuously polling systems, so this event grid allows these applications to respond immediately when something happens, like maybe like a file upload or any resource change. So this is where this event grid comes into picture. So in a simple terms, you can think of it like, okay, I don't need to continuously poll, but if there is an event, then this grid is going to be, uh, just send as an event. So basically using an event-driven architecture. Okay, so why this Azure Event Grid is important? So this enables us to use loosely coupled system, basically develop this loosely coupled systems, right, by delivering the events. So instead of we polling for any resource changes, as I mentioned earlier, like file changes or anything. So that's why this Azure Event Grid is important. So in simple terms, you can think, okay, if I have to build a loosely coupled system, then I'll use the Event Grid system, which is quite scalable, right? And it just delivers the events. Okay, so moving on to event-driven architecture overview. So this is event-driven architecture is a design approach where systems communicate by producing and reacting to events. So this Azure Event Grid helps us to you know uh, work on this event-driven architecture. So where we are producing the events and of course consuming the events. So the producer here emits the events when something happens and consumer reacts independently. So which improves the system flexibility and this also allows system to scale and evolve independently. Okay, so moving on to core components of Azure Event Grid. So if you have to find out what are the different core components of Azure Event Grid. So basically, there are like different components: publisher, event topic, event subscription, and event handlers. So, so this publisher emits events, right? And the topic is something that you categorize them with. So maybe that uh, I can have a topic like maybe some order notification or file upload or file system change. So that's you can categorize them with different topics and subscription defined interests. Like there, you might have some microservices that you create. So those subscribe to this particular topic. So which they will receive the event when the publisher emits the events. So and these handlers, right? So handlers which are part of your consumers basically. So they process the events. So together they form this complete event routing system. Okay, so moving on to event publisher. So as I said earlier, like event publishers are simple services or applications that generates events and send them to event grid. Like Azure services like blob storage, resource groups and custom applications can all act as publishers. So publishers do not need to know who consumes the event. Like if there is some file that is uploaded, so this this can be a event. This is an event. So basically, it can trigger an event, and anybody can subscribe to it. So event topics. So these are like the endpoints where the events are sent before being routed to subscribers. So I mean, basically, this topics helps to organize the events. So Event Grid supports both system topics for Azure services and custom topics for user-defined applications. Okay, what are system topics? So basically, system topics are Azure-related services. So and they are automatically created. So basically, system topics simplify integration with Azure services such as storage accounts and event apps. So reducing the need for custom configuration. Okay, so now if we discuss about custom topics, so this allows developers to publish events from their own applications. So let's say if I'm building some .NET Core application, if I have to create some custom events, so I am able to do it with the help of, so I can create my own topic name and be able to publish the event so from that application. So, like this custom topics are useful when applications or external systems needs to send events to Event Grid that are not natively supported by Azure. So you can just think, okay, if I need something within Azure to trigger an event, that will be a system topic, but otherwise it's going to be a custom topic. So now if we look at the event subscriptions, so event subscriptions define which events should be delivered and where they should be sent. So subscription include filter and endpoints, ensuring that only relevant events are delivered to the correct consumer, right? So not all consumers are going to receive all events, only the consumer who are subscribed to the specific event, they are going to receive the event. Okay, so the event handlers, as I said earlier, that this event handlers are services that receive and process events. And so common handlers include Azure Functions, Logic Apps, Webhooks, Service Bus, and Event Hubs. And so these are all the handlers that can process your event. And each handler processes events based on business needs. Okay, so we have got this event delivery model. So this Azure Event Grid uses push-based event delivery model. Basically, whenever there is an event, this publisher emits an event. So you can think of it as like a push-based event delivery model, right? Because events are pushed to subscribers automatically, eliminating the need for polling and enabling the real-time processing. So event filtering. So event grid supports filtering based on the event type, subject, and the data field. So this event filtering is basically ensures that subscribers only receive relevant events, improving efficiency and reducing unnecessary processing. And event schema. Okay, here, so Azure Event Grid supports Event Grid schema, right? So the cloud's event schema and custom schema. So this schema, basically allows the Event Grid to integrate easily with different systems and standards. And so reliability and retries. So Event Grid provides reliability delivery with automatic retries and exponential backoff. So let's say if there so if there is something like the subscriber endpoint is unavailable, then Event Grid retrieves delivery for up to 24 hours to ensure events are not lost. So dead lettering. So this is something important, like dead lettering stores undelivered events in a storage account. As we seen earlier, that if events are undelivered, somehow it is saved, right? So dead lettering helps diagnose failures and allows events to be reprocessed later instead of being discarded. So all these events will not be discarded if some service is not available, but rather be, this with the dead lettering helps which diagnose the failure, and all the events will be then reprocessed. Okay, security in Azure Event Grid. So Event Grid supports Azure AD, shared access keys, HTTPS, and private endpoints. So this security feature ensures that only authorized publisher and subscriber can send and receive events. So nobody outside of this can send or consume an event, right? So that's where this authentication, which is which is helped by Azure AD, the shared access keys. All these are important for ensuring the security. So integration with Azure Functions. So Azure even integrates natively with Azure Functions for serverless events processing. So this integration allows developers to build scalable, event-driven solutions without managing infrastructure, right? So you can easily integrate with the Azure Functions. And so you might have also heard the term Event Hub, right? So then you might wonder what's the difference between Event Grid and Event Hub. So Event Grid is for event notification, while Event Hub is for high throughput streaming. So this Event Grid handles discrete events, like whereas Event Hub is like optimized for telemetry, logs, and big data streaming scenarios. And Yeah, so there is also something called a service bus. So you might wonder what's the difference between event grid and the service bus. So the event grid focuses on events, while service bus is designed for reliable messaging, right, and commands. So the service bus supports queues and topics with ordering and transactions, while Event Grid prioritizes scalability and simplicity. I mean, it's just a notification if you think with the Event Grid. Whereas with the service bus, it's like more like a message. You might be just sending some complete JSON if you think like, complete transactional message as part of the, as part of the communication with the other services. Okay, so the common use cases are like if you have automation. Let's say event grid is commonly used for the CI/CD triggers or storage event handling, the resource monitoring and workflow automation, right? So anything like a real-time notification, of course, you can use this real-time this event grid. Okay, so what are the best practices that we need to follow? So we need to we need to ensure that we use filtering, secure endpoints, enable debt littering, and design idempotent handlers. So following best practices ensures reliable, secure, and maintainable event-driven systems. Yeah, so in summary, so Azure Event Grid enables scalable, secure, and efficient event-driven solution in Azure. So this is a powerful service for building modern reactive cloud applications with minimal operational overhead. So I hope you like the content of this video. Please like and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. Thank you.